This is the 2026 Fox 36, except, well, there are actually two new 36 forks coming out this year. Here in my hands is the 36 SL. It's a brand new model that features 36mm diameter upper tubes, but pares things right back to reduce weight by a hefty margin. The regular 36 is also new for this year, with significant changes both inside and out. Now, we recently travelled over to the Fox Racing Shocks Development Centre in Scottsdale, Arizona to meet the engineering team behind the new forks and shocks. Fox was also keen to show off the technical capabilities of its power sports division, which saw us taking a wild ride in some decked out UTVs on a desert racetrack outside of Phoenix. More importantly, there are also a bunch of new mountain bike components for us to test out. We brought bikes over with us to have the new parts fitted before returning back home to continue testing on our local trails. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at all of the new tech behind the 36 and 36 SL. We'll be discussing the differences between them and our on-trail experience so far. The Fox 36 and 36 SL are all new for this year. Both forks feature 36mm diameter upper tubes, but that's about where the similarities end. The 36 SL is the lightweight trail fork that's offered with 120 to 140mm of travel and the Grip X damper. It replaces the outgoing 34 and it competes directly with the RockShox Pike. The regular 36 is the all-mountain fork that's offered with 140 to 160mm of travel and either the Grip X or Grip X2 damper. It's an evolution of the existing 36 and it competes directly with the RockShox Lyrik. Last year was all about the introduction of the Grip X and Grip X2 dampers, and this year Fox is turning its attention to the Air Spring and chassis. As with the 34SL that was released last week, the 36 and 36SL receive new magnesium lower legs with a distinctive hollowed out arch. The bypass channels have been moved inboard to reduce dynamic friction, and the bleeder buttons have also been updated to make them much easier to use. The internal bushings have also been spaced further apart to increase fore-aft rigidity and to make for a smoother sliding fork under load. According to Fox, each fork is claimed to be 20% stiffer torsionally, which is a significant and noticeable improvement. Also new is the Glidecore Air Spring. The concept here is to decouple the air shaft from the stanchion to allow for smoother sliding even when the fork is being bent under load. Fox has achieved this by creating a floating core between the air shaft and the main seal heads. These rubber bumpers allow for some lateral wiggle, which in theory should lead to less binding during big impacts. Now, the regular 36 uses these rubber bumpers for both the main seal head up top and the lower negative plate. The 36SL only uses the rubber bumpers for the upper seal head, given it's a shorter travel fork and should see less flex overall. In terms of weight, our Fox 36SL test fork came in at 1,750 grams, which is pretty much identical to the 34 Grip X that's on the top fuel behind me. We also have a 160mm travel 36 Grip X fork on test, which came in at 1,977 grams. Now that's pretty much the same weight as last year's version, which is impressive given the claimed improvements to torsional rigidity. Now, both the 36 and 36SL will be available in 3 spec levels, with prices starting at $1,200 Australian for the Performance Series version. Our test forks are the top-end factory series models, and these come with all the bells and whistles, including the flashy Kashima coat upper tubes. Price on the 36SL is $2,000 Australian, while the bigger 36 will cost $100 more. If you're after all the detailed specs and pricing, you'll find those in the full review over at flowmountainbike.com. We've put a heap of info in there about suspension setup and our experience of testing these forks over the past month, so if you're keen to check it out, just click the link in the video description below. Starting out with the 36SL, Mick's had a 130mm travel fork fitted to his Santa Cruz Tallboy, and I've had a 140mm travel fork fitted to my Trek Top Fuel. In both cases, they were replacing a 34, and we were keen to see what the burlier chassis would offer out on the trail. When you're just cruising along, the 36SL doesn't feel all that different. Given they share the same Grip X damper, both forks offer plenty of comfort and traction. As you encounter more rocks and roots, however, the increased rigidity of the 36SL becomes more noticeable. There's a bit more feedback across smaller rubble, which is particularly the case if you're not riding assertively. The harder and faster you push though, the better the 36SL gets. Steering accuracy is excellent, with a more direct line of communication between your hands and the front tyre on high-speed flow trails. It deals with bigger hits in a calmer manner, and there's less squirm when slapping it down all the way through its travel. Not only does it track more confidently than the 34, 34, it's also smoother across repeat impacts, which is likely due to a combination of the burlier chassis, the increased bushing overlap, and the Glidecore Air Spring. Indeed, the 36SL does a fantastic job of balancing weight, stiffness, and sensitivity. The chassis feel slots right in between the 34 and the 36, which will suit some riders more than others. If you already own a 34 and haven't found yourself lacking in front-end confidence, then there'll be less value in upgrading to the 36SL. Indeed, for those with a lightweight trail bike in the 120 to 130mm travel zone, the new 34SL may actually be the better option. Really, the 36SL is better suited to faster and rougher terrain. It's ideal for those who have typically resorted to running a downstroke 36, as it offers a similar level of rigidity in a much lighter package. Now, as for the bigger 36, we've got a 160mm travel fork fitted to Mick's specialised Levo SL. It has the GripX damper, which is around 120 grams lighter than the GripX 2. It's also simpler to set up with just a single rebound dial, making it easier to get things dialed in. We then set the high and low speed compression dials about halfway through their range and tune from there. On the trail, the new 36 has impressed us with its precise steering and planted feel under load. Having ridden many examples of the previous version over the last few years, we're inclined to agree with Fox's claims about the increased stiffness. It feels much closer to the 38 now, though the 36 is still more comfortable and forgiving across rocky off-camber terrain. With that in mind, we'd suggest that anyone who's currently running a 160mm travel 38 and is finding it a bit too harsh will be well served by the new 36. It comes with a near 300 gram weight advantage, which is significant. As for the impact of the Glidecore Air Spring and the increased bushing overlap, it's hard to verify without back-to-back testing the new 36 with an exact match. We've requested a GripX 2 damper to do just that, so keep an eye out on the Flow website for an upcoming comparative review. What we can say for now is that the 36 GripX is a thoroughly impressive fork that offers great sensitivity and support. In terms of its features and adjustment range, it's an ideal match for bikes that come with a Float X shock. According to Fox, the GripX 2 damper has been designed to match up with the Float X2 and the DHX2 shocks, so bear that in mind when weighing up your options. Now, we're yet to encounter any issues with our test forks, and indeed the on-trail experience so far has been positive. One potential downside though is the lack of backwards compatibility. Whereas Fox has been pretty good in this regard over the last few years, the new Glidecore Air Spring isn't designed to be retrofitted to older forks. And while the GripX and GripX 2 dampers are largely unchanged, the fitment points and overall lengths are different to suit the new chassis. Even the mudguard is specific to the new forks. Another point that popped up during our discussions was the lack of a 170mm travel option for the Fox 36. If you want that amount of travel, you'll have to step up to the 38, which comes with an increase in weight and stiffness that not every rider is going to appreciate. It is a similar story with RockShox, which forces you onto the Zeb if you want a 170mm travel fork. Given the structural improvements to the 36, however, we'd love to see Fox offer a 170mm travel option. Enough from us though. What do you folks think about the new Fox 36 and 36SL? Do you like the look of the improvements? Is there a specific version or comparison you'd like to see us test out? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to shoot through any questions and we'll do our best to answer them for you. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Tooroo!